Good afternoon. I'm Charles Lejano. This is One News Now. More than half of House lawmakers have decided to unseat Taguig Pateros Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano as Speaker. To give us the latest, Ria Fernandez reports to us live from Quezon City. Ria, does this mean that the fight for the speakership is finally over?
Charles, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco is eyeing to end his rift with Taguig Pateros Representative Alan Peter Cayetano over the leadership issue that has been hounding the lower chamber for weeks now. Following his unofficial election as the new House Speaker, Velasco said he will offer a healing hand to Cayetano. The lawmaker said he wants Cayetano and his allies to move forward and join other Solons in finishing the deliberations on the 2021 budget. When asked if he has plans to give Cayetano a leadership post, Velasco said he intends to designate the congressman as deputy speaker. Meanwhile, majority and minority leaders Martin Romualdez and Benny Abante will be keeping their positions under Velasco's term. Only the House General or House Secretary General and Sergeant at Arms were replaced with Attorney Joselia Sipin and Major General Mau Aplasco, respectively. Earlier today, 186 lawmakers installed the Marinduque representative as the new speaker in a session held here at Celebrity Sports Plaza in Quezon City. In his speech, Velasco thanked Deputy Speaker Paulo Duterte and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte, as well as Senator Bongo, for their trust and moral support. He likewise expressed gratitude to President Duterte for being a man of his word and inspiring a provinciano like him to lead. Before closing his remarks, Velasco vowed that he will not let the public down. Cagayan de Oro Representative Rufus Rodriguez defended holding the session amid allegations that is constitutional or that is said to be unconstitutional. Charles Rodriguez also explained that a House proceeding does not depend on the venue and the presence of the mace, but on the will of the majority. Charles?
Thank you. Ria Fernandez reporting live from Quezon City. While lawmakers convened a special session to install Velasco, Cayetano and his allies held their own press conference. To tell us more about this, Jenny Dongon joins us live from the Batasan. Jenny, how exactly did Cayetano react to the proceedings earlier today?
Charles Cayetano tagged the supposed election of Velasco as fake and illegal. This is because the Marinduque Solon and his supported held a session outside the Batasang Pambansa. In the press con, Cayetano said he will not allow Velasco to burn the house down, warning that it will be one of a hell of a fight if he ever tried to do so. The lawmaker added that the session was nothing more than a social club that was violated the IATF protocol on mass gathering. He even called it a blatant disrespect to the Constitution and a travesty for the Filipino people. Cayetano also said the election might even be a part of the Guinness Book of World Records for the most shameless abuse of country's legislator. The Taguig Pateros congressman then accused Velasco of only thinking about taking power in the lower legislative body. He insisted that they must follow President Duterte's order to put the passage of the 2021 budget first before politics. When asked if he has enough support, Cayetano claimed that he has more than 200 allies based on a signed manifesto. Charles Cayetano asserts that he is still the House Speaker and so he will preside a special session tomorrow. The congressman says the camp of Velasco is welcome to attend the proceedings that President Duterte called for. Charles.
Should be an interesting session tomorrow indeed. Thank you, Jenny Dongon, reporting live from the House of Representatives in Quezon City. Malacanang says President Duterte is fed up with the politicking at the lower house and just wants Congress to pass the 2021 budget on time. In his briefing earlier today, Palace spokesperson Harry Roque maintained that President Duterte is not favoring anyone for the speakership. What the chief executive wants, Roque added, is for House lawmakers to set aside politics and approve the 2021 spending plan before October 16. It was President Duterte who forged the term-sharing deal between Taguig Pateros Representative Alan Peter Cayetano and Marinduque Congressman Lord Alan Velasco. The palace also announced that the president will not address the nation tonight.
Kasi ang sinabi na nga ni Presidente, bahala na sila kung anong gusto nilang mangyari. Ipasa muna ang budget. So yung mga bagay-bagay na yan, wala na yan. No? I mean, bahala na sila dyan. Wala na siyang pakialam. To each his own. Ipasa muna ang budget. Tsaka sila gumawa kung anong gusto nilang gawin.
Some senators shared their thoughts on today's developments. Senator Sonny Angara said the lower house should just hold a session and conduct an election to resolve the speakership tussle once and for all. Senator Franklin Drilon said what's critical is the timely passage of the 2021 budget, regardless of who the House Speaker is. We'll have more stories after a quick break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Health Department downplays the Philippines placing 18th among countries with the highest COVID-19 figures. We'll find out why in this report by Greg Gregorio.
The Philippines just placed 18th among countries with the highest COVID-19 cases. But the Health Department downplays this, saying that there are several factors to consider. The country climbed to the 18th spot on Sunday from the 20th last October 1, based on the COVID-19 tracker of the Johns Hopkins University. Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said of the nearly 340,000 infections in the country, more than 80% have recovered, while only around 11% are considered active.
Huwag po nating ikatakot na pang-labing-walo tayo sa numero ng bilang. Kailangan makita rin po natin ilan po ba ang napapagaling natin.
Meanwhile, the DOH has issued a memorandum for proper ventilation of enclosed areas. Included in the guidelines are the installation of exhaust fan in enclosed rooms, usage of natural ventilation in vehicles, and opting for open areas when conducting various activities.
Sa kasalukuyan, pinag-aralan po ng eksperto kung ang COVID-19 ay naipapasa through airborne. Habang wala pa pong conclusive na evidence ng airborne transmission, nirerekomenda na ho ng DOH na tayo ay maniguro.
The agency also monitored a sustained high number of calls received by the National Center for Mental Health Crisis Hotline during the lockdown.
This could be attributed to those who have difficulty, of course, adjusting to the situation, the work, financial difficulties as of the moment, and there are a lot of vulnerable groups who have difficulty coping up with the situation.
Cuevas has an advice to individuals experiencing anxiety and other problems.
We have to choose what we watch or listen, avoid situations that may trigger or have an effect on your mental health.
For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
As for the latest on COVID-19, the DOH reports over 3,500 new infections today. The country's case tally now stands at more than 342,000, some 43,000 of which are still active. The virus took the lives of 11 more patients over the past 24 hours, pushing the nationwide death toll to over 6,300. Some 293,000, meanwhile, have gotten better from the disease, with 150 new recoveries reported today. Senators are calling for a review of the curriculum for education majors. Man Los Baños tells us what triggered this proposal in this report.
During the Senate hearing on basic education earlier today, some senators zeroed in on the low passing rate in the licensure examination for teachers last year. Only 27% of elementary school teachers passed the exam in March 2019, followed by a 31% turnout in September the same year. This is based on the data of the Philippine Normal University or PNU. Senate Committee on Basic Education Chairman Win Gatchalian questioned this.
In a perfect world, we want all of them to pass.
Yes.
In a reasonable world, we want at least naman po 70% pumapasa. Because we're looking at this as investments. But if you're talking about an average of about 30% in elementary and 48% in elementary, this is barely 50%.
Dr. Rosita Navarro, chairman of the Board for Professional Teachers, attributed the poor performance of teachers to several factors. She said education majors, for one, are not required to maintain a certain grade or what they call selective retention.
Many colleges and universities require, let's say, an average of 2 before they can proceed to the second year or the third year of certain courses like science, mathematics, and engineering. But not in education, they just continue.
But the Commission on Higher Education insisted there is no correlation between the low LET passing rate and open enrollment.
There is no conclusion that can be drawn that automatically the students taking up teacher education are the worst students to be admitted. Because the universities have different standards that they set. I don't know what is the empirical basis to conclude that at this point.
The UP College of Education is suggesting a national qualifying examination for students who want to take up education or a certificate on professional education. In this way, they could meticulously choose the individuals entering the education profession. But Gatchalian feared that the move would only reduce the number of teachers and affect the student-to-teacher ratio in the country. He agrees, however, that there is a need to look into the trainings of the teachers to make sure that they are competitive enough. Filipino students ranked second to the last in the world in the Program for International Student Assessment Results or PISA, this after performing poorly in science and English subjects. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Pre-registration for the National ID system has started today. The Philippine Statistics Authority have begun going house to house to collate basic demographic data. Participating individuals will then be scheduled for registration, where their biometrics and additional personal information will be recorded. Included in the first batch of pre-registration are the 32 provinces with the lowest COVID-19 figures. The PSA said the National ID system will hasten the distribution of cash during the health crisis. Mass registration will begin in 2021. The Los Angeles Lakers have won their first NBA championship in a decade, as King James added another milestone to his legendary career, clinching his third ring with a different team, his fourth overall championship. The Lakers' record-equaling 17th title had been elusive for quite some time, but LeBron James finally bagged it with a triple-double of 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. James also earned the NBA Finals MVP plum for the fourth time. Rajon Rondo, who was 6 for 6 in the first half, was likewise instrumental to the finals win that puts the Lakers at par with Rondo's former team, the Boston Celtics, having the most NBA titles of all time. Not even Jimmy Butler could pull Miami out of the trenches for a Game 6 miracle. It all ended today at 106-93 in favor of the Lakers. For more updates, follow News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. And you can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com. And stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.